Just like that, we're live. Let's see here. Live on YouTube with Final Fantasy XVI. On PC. That's the URL, right? Yeah, alright. Alrighty, so, for Final Fantasy XVI,
for now, I'll rest and regroup.
I really wanted to show off the
Far too few
PC
of us at this,
version,
and I won't risk losing anyone through lack
and
of
see how far
preparation.
I could, I wanted to make it like an educational stream in how this game is played, because I'm so happy that everyone gets to play this game and see what it is. Seems really high-end PC. Yeah, seems I'm streaming it just fine. So that's the first thing, right? Everything is maxed out besides terrain and water. Those things could go to mid and it's not a huge impact visually. Everything else is up. And I'm on a 3070. Hello, Nathan. So I got all that going. And in the beginning areas in the demo, they kind of optimize those areas very well, but once you get into other things, you see it. So DLSS 3, I'm staying on performance. If I go any higher, I'm going to start dropping frames, unless I wanted to cap it at 30. But this game's frame pacing is very good. So, I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world to stay to that, because the frame pacing is good. But I would have to readjust to this, and part of the reason I do want to show this game off is, if we look at my PS5 over here, I have 112 hours in this game. I have already 100%ed it. I've done 2 playthroughs of this game, on the second playthrough being on Final Fantasy difficulty. I have done my time, and I am good to start looking at the game at a higher refresh rate. So I would rather play it at 60 so I can enjoy that. Now, CPU-wise, right after that AMD update, the AMD CPU update to Windows, I can handle these just fine, but before, and with a weaker CPU, NPC quantity and clutter density affect CPU, if your CPU is bottlenecking. And, yeah, dynamic resolution is a thing, but I do think it blurs it out too much. It does help with the frame rate, and we'll see that, well, we would see it, but it makes it way too blurry for me. This is already about what I believe the PS5 version looks like. So, and yeah, there is a mod out there. Not only does that mod, it's a FF16 fix, all one word. Here, let's just start going into a next thing. I am here fully equipped with everything I had on the PS5 version, by the way. This is exactly where my PS5 save leaves off. And as if I continued a third playthrough of the game. And I'm doing that so I can show off the number 1 Final Fantasy difficulty, even though there's not really actually much to Final Fantasy difficulty. But also show off the combos I got here, maybe give some ideas. Don't worry about the icons you see I have, don't put too much thought into it, you're not seeing the patterns of them. I promise, it's not really big spoilers, because you're not gonna... Don't put too much thought into it, you'll be overthinking the icons. Anyway, yeah, there is a mod that removes the 30 FPS cutscene cap, right? That mod also makes the game support ultra-wide. I didn't want to show that off, though, because this is Square Enix gave me a code. I would think for showing the game off for them, I probably shouldn't be showing it off modded, especially if people come in, and then I would have to keep explaining, like, no, the game does not have native ultra-wide support. The game does not natively, is not natively 60 FPS in these cutscenes. I figured it would be more fair.
What's wrong with a shortcut through nature's splendor?
But in doing that, I can't believe how, at like actual resolution, right? Now that we're downscaling, it's a little more believable. But at the game's full resolution, it is so hard to believe it's running in real time. This game is so insanely beautiful. It's wild how good this game looks. Insane budget. Everything about it screams how polished it is and how massive the budget was.
Soon took to hunting.
16 port review.
It's good to have you back.
This is it. Better frame rate. That's about it.
Want to be caught in the forest after nightfall?
I suppose not.
But yeah, again, for people tuning in, these are things that I have done my time on PS5. I've done my time on PS5. So that being said, on PC, we are starting out on FF mode and everything. 3050 laptop can run the game.
You're welcome.
Try the demo. There's a demo. Try the demo. The demo areas are optimized, but it should still... Well, I mean, that opening cutscene is pretty intense. Yeah, give the demo a shot. This is not on Unreal. This is the same engine as Final Fantasy XIV. Which is also why it's so wild.
Maybe they're friendly like Toggle. Oh, maybe they're not.
So now I get to show things off more. As I remember after my hours of playtime, remember everything I would do. But man, this game feels good, and I gotta say, there's way less input delay. There's a lot of input delay on PC, even on the performance mode. Or there's a lot of input delay on console, and now I can feel it. Now that I'm playing the PC, I'm like, oh yeah, there was a lot of input latency before. This feels great. Oops. This is the only real circle one I use is for Garuda. I'm gonna, in the combo I have set up, the combo I have preferred to unleash on most enemies is too long that it ends up killing most enemies. So the other, your capture PC can handle it. Frame rate's unstable. That's crazy. The game is fine. The game is perfectly fine. I didn't even see, OBS isn't even throwing up a warning. Is it really lagging? Huh. Fine on my end. I'm playing on the same PC I'm streaming on. I have a 3070. Let me know if it's still lagging. Because if it's like a lagging from CPU usage, it'll be fine when I'm in a menu, but it'll lag when I'm in game.
We still have a way to go.
Here, I'll open the stream up on my phone or something. I'll open it on my laptop. Well, but run better on PS5 Pro comparison to vanilla PS5. I imagine on PS5 Pro the game is gonna maintain 60, which will be nice. Any type of lagging. Okay. I'm gonna just put it on my laptop just in case.
Is he doing this far south?
Looking for food. No more wolves where he's from. The north was one of the first parts of
Buffering?
Storm to
During the cutscene?
Poor sod. I'd invite him over for a cup of tea if I didn't think he'd eat the dog.
And you're saying buffering like the YouTube player is buffering. That's bizarre.
Let's try and stay out of its path.
Let's see here. Optimization patch for the game. The game took so long on PC because of the time spent optimizing it. Using frame generator? No, that's not my graphics card supports that. I usually don't like frame generators anyway. The game is running fine. The buffering you're seeing is purely the stream. So that's why I'm looking into it and why I didn't even notice, because the game's running perfectly fine. Maybe the internet. I wasn't looking at my bitrate. I'm on a 3070 with a 5700 CPU, I believe. Cutscene to real-time rendering is noticeable. The cutscenes are in real time, yeah. Are you gonna play Silent Hill? I'm not gonna play Silent Hill 2 on anything, sadly.
Well, the shrubs in these parts are much better.
Only one thing to mention is now.
So is it buffering right now? I'm not looking at the stream. I'm looking at the stream myself. All right, let's stress test it.
Darkness to me.
Looking fine to me. Seems fine to me so far. Yeah, it might have been on everyone else's end. It might have been on your end. I'll keep it up on my laptop to see. But anyway, the combat in this game is great. This is more of a character action game than it is an RPG. That being said, the combat is great. It may not be what people have wanted, but what it is good. Using a laptop? No. I have a laptop up just with it watching the stream, so I can see if it buffers on something else.
After you.
Thank you kindly.
So I wanted to get time in and talk about the combat. Well, Square is going in on the PC ports because they acknowledge the likelihood that the reason 7 Rebirth and this game underperformed, which, okay, they sold insanely well, but it still wasn't good enough. But one of the reasons for that was the exclusivity. So, in the future, you're probably going to be seeing more Square stuff on PC ASAP. Fantasy May Cry. It really is.
Mind your head.
A fantastic, like, character action game. But yeah, you can also turn up the upscaling, see what happens. Well, it's not a huge deal. I'm hardly noticing that at that point. Getting forced in here. Yeah, I remember when Remake came out and I was given a code for it. We did a stream of that too. Honestly, that one might be... So, if you're aware of the... y'all remember the Windows update that gave a boost to Ryzen CPUs recently? That's a game that might be worth revisiting because of that. So I had tweeted about this, but for anyone who has started the game, tutorials by Devil Never Cry on YouTube. He has some very good tutorials on this game that I would consider required viewing, because he talks about some of the mechanics in the game that aren't like said in tutorial pop-ups, but they're on the ability screen in text. So he highlights what's really important from them. Jesus Christ, I love it. I get to explain that more, but yeah, there is a lot of tech. I can go over a few things as it comes to mind. I think Xbox will get a port. Did they say it was? I feel like they did. It might. No, you know why it might not? Series S. Straight up, it might not get a Series S it might not get an Xbox version because of Series S.
Won't be going this way.
But we'll see.
I'll admit that.
Damn it. I gotta turn it back. It's bothering me. But yeah, this is really pushing it. But I mean, everything's on high. So, it's a little bit.
One of us knows these woods.
Have some sort of party? No. It's a character action game. There are characters in the story who are very clearly like emulating being a part. You do have assists. There are people that help out, but you don't play as them. There are characters that will join you and you work with them, but you will not be like, they're not to the same degree of like Final Fantasy XV, and they are not that's a ground move. Thankfully, I'm over level. There are characters that are clearly like inspired by Final Fantasy jobs in the way that they play. Trying to remember my my parries here. Because everything on my hotbar is set up for the combo I do.
This is stupid. I like wolves.
But there are 2 extra moves I have on my hotbar and I have them on there because they are parry moves. There's a parry for projectiles and a parry that also covers projectiles, but it's better for melee.
It's over.
So I'd have to wait to use those. Rook's Gambit is a melee parry.
No, it doesn't.
It can be used for projectiles, but it's more beneficial to use it on melee. And then Heat Wave is a projectile parry. Those are very good because interacting with mechanics like parrying give you insane stagger. That's the key here, is doing things that build a lot of stagger. So we got a boss here, so we get to show that a little more. But no, yeah, this is a character action game. The combat was designed by the combat director of DMC5, and you can feel it.
So sharp.
You'd better hope so.
It is really a character action game in disguise as a Final Fantasy game.
So much for your shortcut.
Also made by MMO developers, and you can really feel that with how side quest design is. You can very much feel in world exploration, for better or for worse. This game is wholly made by MMO developers, and you can feel that. So it's really going to depend on how you feel about that kind of thing.
Not this time.
Yeah, I can tell when I start to parry how like less input delay there is compared to PS5. It's so good. The magic burst on Y. I'm alternating X and Y here. It's if you're doing that, you're really close to doubling your damage output for your simple combo, and you're building more stagger. Quickly with dodging, when you're dodging enemy attacks, dodge into them for the sake of getting the parry off, or the dodge out of it. Make sure you like hit that move. If you dodge away from it, you might end up dodging. If you dodge away from an attack, you might end up going in the same direction as it, and you might end up, instead of dodging it, your iframes will end at the end of the move. So you need to dodge into attacks just to make sure you get them to connect. Yeah, 3070 RTX 3070, and my CPU is a 5700, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 57 or 58. I'm pretty sure it's 57. So, lightning rod is one of my favorite things in the game, and you will get that a bit early. The lightning rod you put down, it tethers and hits enemies around you. It's so good. The radius could be bigger, but for what it is, you also have moves where you taunt. You have a taunt, so you can bring enemies in and get them closer, or use the B attack with Garuda's moveset to get enemies to come in. But otherwise, there's your dodge. Oh shit, I used Heat Wave on accident. And Rook's Gambit. Also, when they're upgraded, I believe it's when they're upgraded, the cooldown on the parry moves will be reduced if you successfully land them. So you're rewarded for constantly landing them and being able to do them more often. And again, they build crazy stagger. On Final Fantasy mode, the game has a level cap. Final Fantasy mode simply scales enemies up a set amount and then removes the level cap. Or rather, raises it very high. So Final Fantasy difficulty, if you've already been playing the game well and optimized, it's kind of... Final Fantasy mode is still kind of the same deal. Like, if you're doing well in normal difficulty, you're going to experience about the same kind of thing in Final Fantasy mode. I'll have to look at the Digital Foundry video. If anyone wants to give me the long and short of it and say what settings to lower from max, that would be nice. Yeah, we'll see from there. I'm not having CPU stutters, so I don't know if that would do anything for me. This looks fun, hella fun. Keep in mind, I'm playing New Game Plus with everything there. So this is like what endgame looks like. This is what you figure out for your endgame rotation. But it's not the same thing as what other people do. That's what I noticed, is not everyone does the same stuff I'm doing. Everyone has their own thing they figured out. But yeah, it's so exciting, dude, that more people get to play this game, and it's very cool reading everyone talk about it. And how everyone's got to experience it as everyone's going through it. There's some very key moments I'm enjoying seeing people get to. That are what you would expect from the Final Fantasy XIV devs, especially. They love their massive roller coaster, plot-wise, of, like, tons and tons and tons of build-up, and then it pays off with, I'll say quote-unquote hype shit. But it's a long roller coaster ride up, you know. Yoshi P is very big on giving you the reward for how much you've watched cutscenes, but it's a lot. There are,
what's in it for me?
If you don't want to do side quests, there are side quests that are marked as, like, key ones that you do want to, like, consider doing. In the same way, Final Fantasy XIV has the blue
The
quest
ability to use
markers
magic or
for
summon
side
great
quests
beasts should command
that
respect,
unlock
but
something.
instead has left us outcasts.
This game does the same thing.
Our kind are used
So
and
you'll have
discarded
a,
like tools, yet we
at the
are
very
men,
least, you
so
can
why
do
must we
those side
die as
quests,
less?
but
I see. So
if you're just going through it, if you know the combat, you'll probably be fine.
You flatter me, lad.
I think no one played this game.
My
It's
days of
disappointing. You know what it
fire
is?
ran
It's like when the
along
Wii U
behind me.
came out.
I only wish to offer
This
our
game
kind
coming
a
to
choice.
PC feels like
Place where we
the
can
Switch
die
getting
on
a
our
Wii
own
U
terms.
game. Getting burnt out, I can understand that. I almost did. Yeah, in my first playthrough. Especially now though, in my second New Game Plus run. Like, I'm good.
Clyde, what exactly do you plan on doing when you find this dominant of fire?
What do you think?
But I mean, I also did
My brother.
a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure I did Super Boss. Boss? Boss is?
Forest dark enough as it is.
I did all the hunts. I did all the hunts. Oops. Well. There is a option to change the targeting system. I changed it to Type B. Oh, I forgot about that. So there's a special animation depending on certain enemies. Enemies went big enemies, bosses, every one of them. If you do the, if you pull them with Garuda, I believe it's at the half point of stagger, you get a special animation and you get to extend that stagger. I'm pretty sure of that. I forgot about that and completely remembered it on accident. That's why it's going here, why you can't pull the enemy. If they're, if you get them, yeah, like that. If you get them into a little bit of a staggered state, you get a unique animation when you try to pull them in. Charged attacks. If you charge your basic melee attack, jump, that's a launcher. This game it technically does not have double jumping, but what you do is you Goomba stomp on enemies. So if you're doing air combo stuff, you can extend it by air stomping on the enemy and continue juggling from there. You're essentially gonna do that until you're gonna do that before the end of your melee combo so that you can keep looping it in the air for a while. These are larger enemies, so I can't really show it off. Preset medium, texture high, terrain high, shadow mid. Okay, actually there's some interesting stuff here. Let's see. Medium, the rest will get set, so that'll be fine. High, mid, mid, high, clutter high, NPC high. Those, again, these are if you have a good CPU. Thanks to that Windows update, I now do have a good CPU. Variable rate off? Alright. Bloom, AO, yeah. See how that goes.
See that river? We follow her upstream and we'll be in Lost Wing in no time.
In no time.
But goddamn, man, I wish I could have it not be as blurry. That's the most unfortunate part. If I wanted 30 FPS, I could. But yeah, at least the stream doesn't really have an impact on it. And considering I've been playing the PS5 version at the distance of my couch, this is about what it looks like anyway. That's the thing. It is certainly looking about the same as the PS5 version, except, you know, running better. So at least there's that. Oops. Here, we can show off the, show off some stuff here. That's not a projectile. Ah, too early. There we go. Swap here. Yeah! Do that to put him in stun. Then I put the lightning rod in front of him, hit it with the Giga Flare. swap over to, never mind, they're dead. Many such cases. I feel like it's a little worse. What did I change? Terrain high. Was that what I changed? I'll put those ones back down. I had terrain on mid and water quality on mid. Texture quality can be determined by how much VRAM you have. Though I have, the 3070 doesn't have a lot of VRAM and it's still fine on high. So if you have anything higher than 3070, you'll be fine in that regard.
Quiet. A Royal Scout.
And one of the best looking levels. This whole game is so gorgeous, dude. It's a wild amount of like. It feels like, what is it, like ray trace shadows and everything. But everything's got to be baked in, right? To a certain degree because of how well it runs. The game just looks so good, it's unreal.
And
The only thing giving it away now is the render resolution.
They're just down that way. All of them. Grieger's my witness.
At full resolution, it's really hard to believe it's in-game.
we move.
Yeah, get your money's worth. Yeah, especially now because on PC, it's $50 on Steam, and then it's if you went to like Green Man Gaming, they had a thing for $40 if you had the XP thing.
It is true my liege values loyalty above all else. But were you not quick to betray your countrymen for the
Affect the
promise of
most.
coin?
It's interesting. I imagine also on PS5 it changes how the render scaling works during cutscenes.
Benedicta Harmon.
I wonder if dynamic resolution changes that actually.
If we can
Dynamic
capture
resolution
her.
might do the same kind of thing.
You! Weapons on the ground, Imperials!
Anything else I mentioned about combat? We got the Goomba Stomps, we got we got Magic Burst. I haven't touched the DLC actually, so that'll be
At least they're not giant
something I get to. But I don't have as much time as I did. I've been so oh, when you do those specialist cinematic attacks like that one, you are totally vulnerable during them, but you can cancel out of them at any time. See if this guy has a projectile. That's not a projectile. Oh, right. Damn it, I was too late. Gotta remember that. It's really weird to compare the game so much to Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because they're not the same kind of action games. This is character action. In 7, Rebirth has a party. They're both very good at what they're doing, though, and that's great. In terms of being a character action game and being the more conventional action game that 7 Rebirth is, they're top of the line at it. So when you do the this attack with Bahamut, sorry, Odin. I've had it happen before where the idea is to do it when the lightning rod is still up, because I've had situations where I'm glad it's giving me that tutorial now. Oh right, they don't tell you what the button prompts are on Final Fantasy mode. You just gotta know by the color, or the effect rather.
Behind you.
this game is crazy budget. It's so crazy. Oh man. Was that a projectile? Nope. Final Fantasy Rebirth actually is a game where I did almost everything in 7 Rebirth. I got totally burnt out. But I went extremely far.
And now,
Oh shit. Oh, that's right, and then I do Gouge, because Gouge eats away at Stagger. It's so important for Stagger to use Gouge while they're staggered. That's the good setup for it. Ooh. Yeah, so I've had it in a few instances where this will also hit the lightning rod, and if it does, the Zansetsuken is a guaranteed level 5, but getting up to 4 is fine. The only limit is just like the time of stagger, so... Man, that feels good though. This game does similarly have a problem to Final Fantasy XIV, and if you do a fight too fast, like this is forced, but there are phases or moves that you'll not see from a boss if you're going so fast. 15's does it look better than 15's pre-rendered cutscenes? I think so. Right? We are at the point where I can't... Act 1 is level 80. New Game Plus. New Game Plus. And 16 feel. I love it. This isn't my first playthrough.
I thought we were Imperials.
Again, I have done my time. I have done my time. So, we are here.
A true shield of Rosaria. And one blessed by the Phoenix at that.
I have played through this game twice. And it's great. I love it.
Speaking of which, I wonder, does the other icon of fire give blessings, do you think?
You don't believe me.
And long
Little over an hour, yeah.
Make of the elements 8 icons to serve as keepers of the one role.
Yeah, it does. I thought it was pre-rendered. I thought some of these cutscenes were pre-rendered. The only thing that on PS5 would tell me they're not pre-rendered is having the weapons visible in the cutscenes.
Fire has always had just the one warden.
This is PC, yes.
A new one can't be born until
we used
the previous dies.
quote-unquote means to do that.
Can take years.
It's something others are looking into, is like save, using another save. Already have it. The reason I'm doing that though is because I want to show off the game's combat, and I want to see how the game's combat at endgame looks on PC, and show that off for the stream. And also get to talk about New Game Plus, because again, Final Fantasy mode isn't really a huge deal.
But what if someone discovers the bodies?
But it's refreshing. What Final Fantasy mode does is it raises all the level scaling a set amount. And removes the level cap, so you get to keep going from there. Yeah, this is PC. I use GeForce Now. I do not.
So much for arriving before sunset.
I can say now though, like
this close. Any idea what that is?
One of the big things still from PS5 to PC is how much less input delay there is.
Though his flying days seem to be behind it.
Just to make them sponges.
You truly
Not really, because it's still a character action game.
My scout has never given me any reason to doubt him.
You're still, and if you've figured out how to play the game efficiently, you're tearing through them no matter what. Especially with, I talked about some tips in this stream, that help you understand like how to do a lot of stagger damage. But what is cool about this game is, again, everyone I've seen that played PS5, I've watched them in New Game Plus and everything, and they do different stuff.
I can use them as waymarks.
They use different kind of combos and stuff than I do. So it's a character action game. You can do what you want. But man, does it feel good. Open the map. So I don't know how far we will go. I'm hoping to get another action level in. I forget which one is next. I would really like to do that, though. This area is chugging a bit. I'm getting down to 30.
Figures up ahead.
That's unfortunate. What am I looking for? Man, down to ultra performance, man.
Are they friends or
Oh no, this is CPU. Turn that back up. So if I want to improve that, ideally it would be, well, there's no NPCs here, but clutter. After it loaded. A little. That wasn't affecting it as much as I thought it would. Now it's gonna lag again as it reloads everything. There we go.
You! Just another step!
So, held button jump will launch. You can Goomba stomp enemies mid-air to keep the air combo going. Ooh. That was in-game, that wasn't the stream that time. Man, that's so much easier to do on PC compared to PS5. Wow. Significant performance issues so far.
Welcome to us, the next
I
one's
wouldn't
with
expect
me.
the game to run much better than it is. I don't know how much they could physically improve it. You need a good PC. There's a lot of it that will never like look bad, or maybe you want to settle. The frame pacing on this game is very good if you want to settle for 30 FPS. Yeah, let's try dynamic resolution, I guess. Which I'm pretty sure goes below any of the upscaling options. Run back through here to check. That got me like 10 more FPS. No, like 15 to 20 more. Yeah, well, I'm gonna leave, let's leave dynamic on. 8 RAM good enough? Let's see. Hold on, open task manager. It's sitting at 5 gigabytes. For also like running your PC in general, that might be pushing it. I'm gonna leave the other option down here. NPC quantity, clutter density, those ones can go down still. We're really getting away from oh, texture quality would be a VRAM thing. That could also be helpful. Yeah, at that point, it's really not budging higher than 50. So that's a shame. If I wanted 30, though, it would be perfectly fine maxed out, but... I came to that conclusion on Dragon's Dogma 2, unfortunately. That's a game that, if I want to play on PC, I'm going to have to settle with playing on 30. Which, playing PC games on 30 with getting good frame pacing is harder than it should be. But that's a discussion for a different time. Let's just get into town. Keep it going a bit. The active time lore. Yeah, because there's a lot the game throws at you. Oh, frame gen. Well, I don't have frame gen on my GPU. And the non-NVIDIA frame gen stuff I've seen doesn't look good to me. I like, hate the generated look of them. I've tried it. It didn't look good. No, there's no benchmark tool. There is a demo, though.
No sign of the royalists.
Or anyone else.
I'm gonna boot the demo up and see.
It's too bloody quiet. Even for this hour.
Though the demo areas are optimized.
First we look for my scouts. You start here. I'll
The opening cutscene is pretty effect heavy. That one might be a better judge.
Good question.
But the main 2 areas of the demo,
Subtle.
3 areas, the second mission you unlock in the demo. Actually don't know how that one is.
I don't even know.
That one might be more of a better case.
The village can't be completely abandoned, can it?
At this point, some of it may be because I'm streaming.
That sounds like a child.
That shouldn't be as big of a factor as it used to be on past streams, but it is possible, yeah, for the stream itself to be affecting it.
It's all right. I'm not one of them. My friend and I, we're with the Imperial Army, and we've come to help. Do you know where your parents are?
In the church.
Then I'm going to find them and make sure they're safe. Can you stay hidden here until then? To the church, then.
It really is pushing it. This is... it's just one of the best looking games, period. So that being said, it is really pushing it. Got too used to it. Huh, this might be more of the stutters people were talking about. But yeah. I was seeing different results with the Legacy, actually. This one was giving me a little better performance than DLSS 3, the Legacy one. That was giving me better performance than some of the stuff I was testing. But it doesn't look as good, I don't think. In my opinion, it doesn't look as good. There's a lot more artifacting. As I look at the stream, though, it may be harder to see on stream. Also, yeah, again, there is a mod for removing the cutscene cap. Cutscenes are capped at 30. And also for ultra-wide support. I didn't want to stream with those on, though, because, again, Square gave me a code. I didn't want to present the game in a modded state, so people wouldn't come in and think the game has ultra-wide support. Or that the cutscenes aren't capped.
Stand back.
I don't know, I could try the CPU thing while this is going. I'm a little scared to do that because I'm streaming at the same time. I almost discourage doing the CPU stuff because that can cause, like, side effects. Especially at high. Oh, sorry, I'm tabbed out, so it's, there.
I thought you were joking.
I was tabbed out.
It's all right. He's with me. Is this everyone?
No, there were others. A pair of royalists.
Well, yeah, what it does is set the CPU priority to high, and
Was a dominant
I've had in my experiences that causes
maybe it's not
side
like
effects
he was
on your
holding a
PC.
sign.
I'll give you one guess where he's going. Clive, after him.
This is some of the better looking, like, God, this game's pretty. I don't think it's scaling the resolution as much. It's not going as low as it should. Oh, it doesn't go lower than that. What's even going on? There's nothing really going on in this scene, though. That doesn't look like it's scaling. Output resolution 1080p.
Any word from the scouts?
Not yet, my lady, but we have the dominant's companion.
Sid's, this is one of my favorite Sids in Final Fantasy, for sure.
Very good. And what of the others?
The bearers have been taken to Caer Norvent.
I believe it was when Digital Foundry first covered Final Fantasy XVI. They talked about
All is in hand.
the lighting is always
I give you my word.
ray traced. Shadows are always ray traced. Which is how the game can look so effectively dark and rely on good lighting to outline characters, despite how dark everything is. And that on PS5, neither performance mode doesn't disable that.
Ugh. The Imperials drink this piss?
Well, it would go some way to explain their breath.
And we're at 1440p on a 4090.
Lady Benedicta, Imperials!
At this point, like...
And instead of killing them, you lead the rats straight to us.
Mercy.
I hope there is something, because I wouldn't want to go back to PS5 because of how little input delay there is. That's the one reason I would want to stay on PC.
Boys. An Imperial bearer. Good. I was getting bored.
This voice acting's incredible, by the way. Clive is... I thought Clive deserved, Ben deserved, best... Was it best actor or best male actor? He totally deserved it. When Final Fantasy XVI... When they were voicing it, he's talked about how, he was grieving at the time. I believe over his father's death, and through the grieving, he's projecting that in his acting for this game.
What is that thing?
Fantastic casting as well.
Sid hasn't explained to me.
Let's see, this will be good to show off some other stuff. I'm glad we get to fight this. Oh, there we go. I am dodging into her, so that was looking silly. Gouge him out. Look how much stagger that does. It's so crazy. I think those are non-negotiable. Rook what is it? Garuda, and with Garuda, Gouge. Like, the amount of stagger it does is so crazy. When you do stagger an enemy, sorry, I peeked there. When you do stagger an enemy, if you activate Limit Break, you can essentially skip the cutscene there. And yeah, even on Final Fantasy mode, it gets to a point where this rotation I does is killing them before it gets anywhere.
You've got some fight in you, even for a branded.
Oh, sorry. I clicked out of the game.
Clive!
Forgot it muted.
Look who's here to save the day. Is this how you recruit all of your charges?
Don't recall you.
Yeah, I do wonder if streaming is affecting it.
So, Sidolphus,
It's possible.
remind me, Why was it that you betrayed
Excuse
your
me.
kingdom? I asked you a question, Lord Commander.
Because the performance was
Why?
more stable than what we've been seeing,
Because
but
I
it may
gotta
just
go
be the
for you and your
locations,
king's
or it could be
antics.
that I'm streaming at the same time.
And yet here you are, stealing my branded. What are you plotting?
As if I'd tell you.
Actually, after the stream, I'll leave a comment. I'll leave a comment below and mention if the performance of these things, if these areas improved.
Always something is there.
I think I could load some autosaves and go back and check. See if they run better when OBS is off.
Gone.
By the way, tomorrow we're going to do a Romancing Saga 2 demo. So there'll be a stream tomorrow. I've been recording Persona 3 The Answer and Episode Igus at the same time.
No.
I've been playing through both versions and
Head back
recording
to Lost
everything.
Wing. One of the villagers may have heard something.
Hopefully that's soon.
Which is why I sent Gav.
I don't have a terrible amount of like
The man
stuff
has
that
a nose for
that
these
video
things.
requires, thankfully.
Trust me.
I don't have to worry about multiple platforms. I don't have to worry about going as in-depth into visuals, or music can get a quick mention. A lot less I have to do with that video, thankfully. That's insane. This lighting's insane.
So, it wasn't about bears at all. They were looking for a dominant.
That's right. Thought we were hiding the bastard. Like any of us would keep a monster like that under our roof. Oh, no offense.
Again, the only thing giving it away is the lowered resolution. I really wish I could have that higher.
And locked you in the cellar, hoping sooner or later someone would break. You know, things might have been different if you'd accepted my invitation.
Oh, don't remind us. We were all saying the
I
same
mean,
thing.
on the laptop, the stream isn't full screen. It still looks pretty damn good.
And that, I'll drink to.
Oh, come hear the tale of Lord Dion the Bold, whose tamed worms 1,000 and slain the tenfold. 100 full legions
Spoony Bard.
the young dragoon led, and watched as a
This game's great. I think you gotta go into it with the right expectations, though. It is a character action game. Probably the least amount of RPG elements in a Final Fantasy game.
Listen, Clive. Revenge won't bring it
This
back.
is, in fact, a story done by the Final Fantasy XIV developers. Specifically, I'm pretty sure they started on this after Heavensward,
I watched the Dominant kill my brother right in front
if
of
I
me.
remember correctly. After Heavensward, the writers went over to start working on FF16.
But now
That's how long this game's been in, like,
I
pre-production
can
at that
kill
point.
the son of a bitch and bring peace to my brother's soul. After that, whatever happens, happens.
Fate. You're content to be its slave, then?
They set the line ludicrously high, though, with this game, on how FF17 has got to live up to. I think they could do it, though. If 7 Rebirth is anything to indicate by, they could probably handle it. That's one thing I wanted after playing 7 Rebirth.
This radiance would have us
I feel a
believe
lot
the
more
Imperial
comfortable with
host
that
invincible.
team handling another Final Fantasy now.
Yet here we find the Empire's cornerstone teetering on
Like
the
if,
backs of a handful of cowards
what is it?
and cutthroats.
Not just Nomura. Everyone Nomura works with, those higher up
Well,
guys.
Bahamut may lead 100 full legions. Could it be that the
They-
young prince
they-
defends
the
a house
people
of
that have been
cards
making,
ready to topple at the slightest breeze?
7, 8, 10, 13. 7 Remake, 7 Rebirth.
Why
If they're
do
brought
you
back
not
onto
resist?
another numbered entry, I think they'd nail it.
Within you lies the power to slay
And after 7
gods.
Rebirth, I feel more
The
confident in
phoenix
them doing it.
perished in your flames. Yet you do not fight. You do not
It means
flee.
less people will be able to play it because of how demanding
You
it is.
refuse your
Right?
gift.
That's obviously why 14 doesn't go that far visually as a comparison. Remember,
Perhaps you are distracted.
it might have been when they were planning to make TF2 free to play, but when they did that, there was a graphics downgrade to TF2. I never got over that. It was disappointing, but they wanted to be more accessible.
My offer still stands. Join us and you will be treated with the respect one of our kind deserves.
But accompanying other hardware does require specific optimization. Like, there's a lot of Switch games, like Dragon Quest XI-S is a good example where they had to rework a lot of shit. So much so that, like, changes weren't backwards compatible when they brought 11 to
I'll give you a
PC and other
moment to consider
platforms.
your
They were
options.
stuck with what they had for Switch and had to work from that.
Be gentle with them.
I know Bloodstain took a while, and with Bloodstain, a lot just, like, on the Switch version has had to look different just to be able to be run more optimally on it.
Clive. Wake up. Gav's back.
We're so close, though, dude. Like, we are hitting the quality of pre-rendered cutscenes running in real
One
time.
of the Empire's
So
outlying
as far as I'm
strongholds,
concerned, this is
though
the
apparently
actual,
not
like,
strong enough to keep out the
border.
royalists.
This is the point
The
of
captured bearers are
it
inside.
shouldn't
I'm
get
sure
better
of
than
it.
this.
If Benedicta's orders are to stay in the shadows,
Now work on the
she won't be
performance.
traveling with many men. Meaning, she'll be
Please, for the
keeping
love
her
of God,
prisoners
work on the
together and
performance.
close by.
Including the dominant.
So, we find a way into the fortress and conjure a bit of chaos.
That's one of the things about. That's one of the big
Excellent
things
question,
about
Gav.
like the difference
You
in
will wait outside
the
the
hardware
gate
leap between
and guide
PS4 to
those
like
on free to safety.
PS5.
And miss all the fun. Why can't he do
The
that?
larger gap there has been in the
Clive doesn't have your
CPU,
nose.
and it's
Stumble
not
off a
about
cliff
looking
before you
visually
found
better.
that.
It's more about
Come on, Gav.
efficiency
You're the best man for the
and
job.
something easier for the devs. Though you can also interpret it that as
When you put it that way.
not as much work into optimizing.
Suppose I better scout ahead for
But that's
any
where the changes are.
surprises.
Is it's more in efficiency.
Don't you let him down.
I won't. All right. Shall we?
Not so fast. We wait until tomorrow.
But he's right there.
And if we leave now...
But I'm
we'll
not
arrive
By the
just
way,
as the
don't
sun
expect
comes up.
me to cover
Maybe
PS5
join
Pro
the guards
stuff.
in breaking their fast.
I can't afford that, dude.
Clive. They only just took the place. They'll be there a while yet. We've got one chance at this. You don't want to waste it, do you?
No.
Yeah, this is pushing it. I would say again, like I've said before, try the demo if you're worried about your hardware. Though this was running better for me off stream, but it also could easily be the locations.
Now that's settled. There's someone I want you to meet.
At this hour.
He's the owner of the tavern.
There are some
And I'll
saves
bet
I
so
tried
he'll
from
get a decent
later in the game, and essentially in different like cities like this, the performance is still impacted on that, and even on like PS5, they're impacted the same way if you play on performance mode. That's what I would expect out of That's what I would expect out
Linton,
of
my good man. It seems
the
we'll be
PS5
spending the
Pro.
night.
It's just it maintains
I thought as
60.
much. Where do you find that one?
Oh, him? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Gwynson here is an old friend, one who is sympathetic to our cause.
I don't think we're getting to our next mission because we have to run around and
knows
do
about
some
your little sanctuary?
menial stuff.
I would never have guessed so many people were bent on setting us free.
Yeah, the pacing will feel remarkably
checked,
similar if you played
The mere thought would only a trip to the gallows.
FF14.
I am well aware of the risks.
There's actually tropes
As I
to
am
how
of the
this game's
rewards.
story progresses that they brought into 14.
And what could be more rewarding?
And when you get further in, you'll see what I mean.
A dominant? Here? Now that I would like to see.
Meaning you haven't?
No, but nothing passes unnoticed in Lost Wing. Take your brand, for example.
Yeah, I can't.
People will see that at once. And I need hardly tell
I
you
sure hope
how
as
they
hell
will
when we get
greet
to
the
Final Fantasy
inquiries of a bearer.
VII Rebirth on PC.
You are afraid
I can show it looking better.
Your words will fall on deaf
It's definitely
ears,
middle, and even on the lowest settings, it
as
chugs.
they have ever since
After
the
switch to
moment
Young
you
Clive,
unlock.
right?
Happily,
I saw people
I
like
can
looking
provide
at
a solution
Steam
to
Deck
your
info.
dilemma.
I don't think
As a
I don't think
favor
you're
to
running
Sid,
this
that
on
is.
Steam Deck. That's where I'd put it, right? Like I wouldn't expect this on Switch 2.
You will find it has the uncanny power to loosen tongues. May the mothers guide you.
This might be Imperial land, but here in Lost Wing, it's his word that's law.
But how?
You don't need to worry about that just yet. Trust me. Everyone in Lost Wing knows what that seal means, and what it means if they don't take note.
We'll experiment with some settings in a moment,
Sit here counting our blessings.
because we would have a ways to go for the next mission. So I might just experiment here. I think I got to show off enough action. I talked about all my tips.
See if this thing really
Again,
works.
for combat guides, look up Devil Never Cry. His combat guides for the game are, I would say, required viewing. Because they highlight info shown like here in these prompts here. Like this. It highlights the important things about some of these moves that are probably like key to what you'll always be using. In addition to a lot of other good info. Some of it I've tried to share already. Let's see. I think that's about it for combat. Let's these cities would for sure be the harder areas to like stress test. Or like the better areas to stress test with. But I don't know. Let's see. They said set it to medium. We can do that anyway. Yeah, medium. Turn that off. Oh, that's why. That does change more than I thought it did. But that still, like, turns these off. It's about the same, and what that tells me is that it's a CPU. I believe it's a CPU thing. I do not see it being $500. Nintendo does not produce consoles that they lose a profit on. Xbox and PlayStation, they lose profit on every console sold, and they eat that because they will make money through other venues. Nintendo has never sold a console at a loss. So that gives a good limit onto whatever you can do with like $400 of hardware. Probably what to expect. 500 would be crazy. I would eat it up. I would still get it, but I certainly would hesitate a little more. You know, I literally can't lie about that. Yeah, I'm gonna give in. Everything low. All these. I see it being 400 at most. That's about the same. I think at that point it's just CPU bound. There's just simply too much around. And, I mean, the dynamic resolution is already going to put it down at ultra performance. Yeah, if I was playing capped at 30, that'd probably be fine. My monitor is 75 hertz. So when it does half rate, it goes to like 40 something. It goes to a decimal number at 40. That looks good. That's a little better than 30, but but I don't see sure as hell this won't help. Actually, it's the same. So yeah, it's totally a CPU. This is a CPU bound thing. If you're changing like the resolution and you're scaling down the resolution and you're not getting a frame more, I believe that's usually a sign of a CPU cap. There is just literally too much in these cities. And that sucks. That sucks to see. Even that AMD, I can't imagine how bad it would be before the AMD update. Shit. But also, again, it could be because I'm streaming. Something I noticed when the AMD update hit was, I would, when I record my videos, or the footage, I record the footage in OBS, and on occasion, I will be in a Discord call, and I will share the OBS screen and what I'm recording. There was a point where that stopped working. It would overload the encoder. The encoder's in the GPU. I'm not entirely sure why it would overload it. But after the AMD Ryzen update with Windows, that stopped happening and it works now. So hell if I know how much that affects. That's about the same. No, actually, it's a little lower. The kind of mod we would need is a mod that just simply, like, takes terrain away. We need a mod that takes terrain out. Like those potato mods for fighting games. You would just simply need to take stuff out of the environment. Shadows is probably what's like the big difference there. Still, it still wants to be 30. Yeah, I could say personally, as I am showing this game and I was given a code, personally, I do want to play this game at a more stable frame rate. Sure, go for it. What is it determined? It turned VRS off. Well, I guess that answers that, if it benefits me or not. So the automatic settings are telling me I should be using high-end, high settings for everything. Unfortunate. If you do want to limit to yourself to 30, you can also increase the motion blur. Maybe not at 5. 5's a little much. 5's pretty distracting. At the most, this wasn't in the game at launch when it launched on PS5. This motion blur was either on or off. So 1's a good setting. 1's all you need. Better on PS5. Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on where CPUs go. I would be more concerned on where it is CPU-wise. I'm just guessing, though. I'm speculating on patterns I know of. With the latest versions of Special K, I believe it's able to determine if a game is if it is bottlenecked on CPU or GPU. I believe that's in newer versions of Special K, which might be worth considering. But I don't know. But yeah, personally, it is going to it would bother me having to play at this frame rate. But it would also be to go back to PS5 because of the low input delay. I did play for a while on PS5. I did the 30 FPS. I don't know. Again, it is more in towns too. I don't know. I guess I've said my piece, I think. I've said about everything I could, right? I've showed off the combat a good bunch. I've shown off what endgame combat essentially looks like. I've given all the tips I could give. We've seen how the PC port is in general. And hoping for the best. Again, I'll comment if it performs better outside the stream. This is a pretty good area to test it in as well. I don't know if I would expect updates either. But the only thing I would see is the only thing I would see improving would be mods. Mods to like take stuff out of the environment. Perform better than 60. I'm pretty sure. I don't know this for sure. I could be completely bullshitting. When it is at the resolutions with a star by it, it's triple buffered. I think. I don't know that for sure. It certainly feels as smooth as if it is triple buffered, but I don't know that for sure. So if you're going to one of these other frame rates, it's going to... It could still feel off. I mean, I'm not hitting 40 here anyway, but... So it doesn't really matter in this setting. These other settings... these star settings apply to your monitor hertz. So if I had a 144, the star would be here. If my monitor was set to 75 hertz, like it usually is, it would have 75 with a star by it and 40 something with a star by it. And that's what it would be recommended, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know for sure. It would probably be mentioned in the Digital Foundry video. It's these frame rates are just, the starred ones are smoother than the ones in between. But yeah. I would never buy a Nintendo console for 1,000, no. 600, hell no. Absolutely not. Nope. That would be my limit. 500 is still too much, and that's still, like, hitting the limit of how much I will, settle on Nintendo. Yeah, I got my phone. Around the stimulus time, and I am not going to, need another one. That's for sure. I don't know what kind of phones everyone else lives with, but I would expect the phones to live longer. But that's not relevant. Not at that price. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. And in other words, in other situations, I sure as hell would not pay $2K up front. That would be like paid intervals or something that came with the plan. But yeah, phones are can be a different case. I think we'll call it there, as the discussion's just gonna like go on with that. So I'm probably gonna be back tomorrow. I'm probably going to be back tomorrow with Romancing Saga 2, the demo for it. The demo is also, if anyone else wants to check it out, Romancing Saga demo is on. The demo is on everything. It's on PC if you ever want to check it out. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow. But yeah, that'll be it for Final Fantasy XVI. I'm pretty sure I showed everything off I want to. And yeah, mentioning one more time, the mod, there is a mod to remove the FPS cap and to make the game ultra-wide supported. Which are very cool if you have those things. But the game is already intense, so depends if you want to run it at that. Yeah, it's been a very long time since the Switch released. Anyway, yeah, I'll leave it at that. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all next time. And thank you for the continued support.